Hey YouTube, POD7 here again. Felt really bad about leaving those guys out there in space, so we're gonna go back and try to complete their mission today. The screen's a little bit cropped because I didn't want to show how early in the morning this was recorded. So, oh, what's that you hear? That's actual in-game sound. Thank the Lord. Oh man, been a long time coming, but so yep, figured out how to crop an iMovie. That took all of 2 seconds, and I thought it was gonna take forever. But yeah, here we go. Exciting loading screen. Appropriate music where it's supposed to be, and oh man, we left off in a bad place for sure. Um, yeah, this is also obviously this is pre-recorded as well, but it's been a couple of sleepless nights since I recorded it, so um, yeah. There's one part that I remember vividly because it's just one of the most shameful displays I've ever seen in an FTL video. But yeah, there's the sector screen that shows you the different paths you can take. In case that was too fast to see, green dots are civilian sectors, which means um, less fighting, but also less loot. Um, red sectors are obviously enemy-filled sectors, so more fights but better loot. And then purple, they're uncharted nebulas, so it's kind of 50-50 on what can happen. That's where a lot of the weirder events happen, like running into basically the monolith from 2001, and it'll, depending on what you've done so far, it'll give you like a healing beam, or I think it even gives you an alien teammate sometimes. I'm not sure, but so we're fighting a rock scout here. You can hear the glorious missile sound effects and laser sound effects now. I'm trying to think of what I didn't say in the first video. This ship is called the Kestrel. It's the default ship you get when you first start the game. There are 12 ships, I believe, 12 or 16, somewhere in that range, and each of them has a Type A, and then if you complete 2 of the 3 ship achievements with that specific ship, you unlock Type B, and it's usually kind of a challenge mode version of the ship, where it'll be harder to get through, but it's also a little more unique. I'm trying to think of what Type B for this is. Well, and the rooms will be configured different, and sometimes you'll have increased weapons or increased shields, but decreased weapons, stuff like that. So there's a lot to this game, despite its I was gonna say simple look, but considering how much stuff is on the HUD, it's like it's a lot more complicated than a lot of people would probably think. I didn't see what happened there. I think that was probably you saw a ship struggling through a meteor or an asteroid field, and you tried to shield them, and they broke apart, something like that. But yeah, our hull is really, really bad off right now, and I'm trying to think. No, it's the next fight that I'm looking forward to face palming myself to death over. This is a slug interceptor. I don't think I've run into any slugs in this run. I don't remember though. I don't think I ever upgraded my sensors enough to where you can see the inside of the enemy ship, so that's kind of frustrating. Trying to show off the game, but so they're dead. That's always good. So for saving civilian ships, it's kind of a gamble because sometimes it's possible they won't survive the fight. Sometimes they leave before the fight's over. Sometimes they're just refugees. That's usually in the last stand. Yeah, as you see there's all the weapons I have at the moment. The anti-bio beam is pretty cool if you didn't pause to see. It doesn't affect the ship, but it'll damage the crew of the opponent's ship. And that's usually why you gotta upgrade your sensors if you have that weapon. Either that or you can get a slug crewmate, and they have telepathy, so you can see like little red dots running around the enemy ship, and that's the enemy crew. So I just realized that it's been almost 48 hours exactly since I recorded this. And once again, it is way too early in the morning. Or too late at night, whatever you want to say. Yeah. But it's quiet at this time of night, so. And here we go. The main event. Those are rockmen. And they're immune to fire, and they have 150 health. So they make an excellent boarding crew, basically. What I'm going for here is you can open, if you have a weak crew, which I do because they're all humans, you can open the doors to space and flood or take all the oxygen out of each room, and that's why it's getting pink in the middle. And so luckily they separated themselves, so I send 2 of my guys after the one that split off. And yeah, they just knocked out sensors, so now I have no idea where they are unless they start attacking doors. But since I don't have upgraded doors, you can't see that. So there's 1 rockman down. We are in quite a bit of trouble here. It's at this point in the video where I might be splitting the video because I don't know if I can upload more than 15-minute videos, and this just happens to be a 17-minute video, so we'll see what happens. It would be just like me to have a cliffhanger for such a ridiculous event. But so there's my crew working on the oxygen, and I'm sending the pilot to get the sensors back up so I can see where this rock guy is. I tried to send the dying crewman over to first aid, but oh, this is gonna be, yeah, he's dead. So yeah, at this point you gotta start the Benny Hill theme. I've got the crew on one side of the ship, the rockmen are at the engine, so I'm trying to flood them out of the oxygen. They're chasing, they're on the move. And now I gotta start moving my crew around like a last-ditch effort in chess or something. It's pretty sad. Usually you pick up a 4th crew member by this point in the game. At least from my experience, you get pretty lucky and attack a slaver ship, and they'll offer you a slave in exchange for their lives and stuff like that. But for some reason I didn't pick anybody up. I don't think I hit a store either, so at this point I don't remember. But yeah, just sending my guys back to the other side of the ship, playing a very terrible game of cat and mouse here. The ship increasingly becoming more rare. So the oxygen kept going down, but I'm not entirely sure why, because I had all the doors to that side of the ship closed. Besides the ones connecting the oxygen room to my room, so I just shut a couple more doors and all of a sudden it stopped the flow. So that guy was lucky enough to get through to the oxygen part, so I just decided to send them both in a last-ditch effort to survive. And we won. I wouldn't call it a victory, but we survived for sure. Now to repair everything and get everybody healed up. We're a two-person crew, excuse me. Trying to think of other weird things. The names of each crew member, unless you rename them, are randomly generated, which is kind of weird because the humans sometimes don't get human names. They end up with names like CY Hang and what was the other really good one? I can't remember at this point, but there's just really weird names that show up once in a while. And then you'll get like a Mantis crew member or a Rockman crew member, and his name will just be Chris. just Chris. Or you'll get a slug named Betty, I think was the one I had, the first slug I ever had, so let's get the heck out of Dodge here. And I can say that because I live in the state where Dodge is. The original Dodge from that phrase. These things can be incredibly dangerous. Automated ships with shields can kind of be a pain early game. Because it's not wise to send people a boarding crew over because it's an automated ship, so it doesn't need air. So you'll just be teleporting them back and forth, healing them, and sending them back, while at the same time the drone's AI is fixing whatever they were attacking. So just focus on shields, and then keep one weapon focused on shields and another focused on weapons, and that's usually what I do for those. Picked up a anti-personnel drone. I don't really like drones, but I did have an NG, whatever, the square donut ship. If you ever see it on FTL, that ship. I had a run where I had 3 anti-ship personnel or anti-ship drones. My throat's cracking. I hope I sound a little bit better in this video because I was this is gonna sound horrible. I was talking to myself to build up some more stamina, I guess. I don't know, whatever you would call it, but God, what was my thought? Oh, I had 3 anti-ship drones, which are little basically flies that fly around the enemy ship and shoot them with little beam weapons. And we could die here. I don't recall what happens near the end of this episode, so yeah, more borders are always bad. These guys happen to be the Engi, so they have 70 health compared to our humans' 100. I believe. In iMovie, the picture's so small that I'm like, well, it's gray and it's not jagged looking, so I guess that's NG. Sometimes you can hardly tell on full screen, so. But yeah, I had 3 anti-ship drones, and those things were just wrecking their days, man. And add that on top of the ion blaster, which it doesn't break systems, but it disables them for a certain amount of time, depending on how upgraded they are. So I had that going just on shields constantly, and those little beam guys were shooting it like crazy. I didn't have to buy any other weapon, so I was just upgrading shields, engines, pilot things. I I actually bought the weapon pre-igniter, which is one of the most expensive upgrades in the game. And basically, if you have power to your weapons, as soon as you enter a battle, your weapons will automatically be prepared to fire. And that was really cool. Still died on the final boss. I got to the third phase. I don't know if that's spoiling anything or not, but most bosses in video games now have 3 or 4 or 7 phases depending on what game you're playing. So, yep. I have 1 whole health, 1 HP basically. So we're skipping that fight for sure. Thinking that was a mantis ship. And at this point, that's when they start showing up with boarding crews. So, yeah, definitely avoiding mantis ships in this status with 1 HP and 2 crew members. Basically, at this point, I was thinking, well, let's just try to get as far in the game as I can. There's another mantis ship that probably had a boarding teleporter. So, yeah, well, I'm trying to think if this is the end of it or not. No, we jump again. Oh, that's cool. I can't imagine how far I made it on 1 health, though. That's one of the achievements for this ship, is to get down to 1 health and then go to a store and fix your hull to full. So this is the store. One version of the store anyway. And I sell these ridiculous weapons and drones that I'll never use. And fix the hull to full and ready to go again, I guess. Hopefully we pick up some more crew. But this may be the end. This seems familiar, so goodbye and good luck.